Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us after our week-long hiatus where definitely nothing happened and there is nothing that we need to talk about. I'm Rivington Bism III, and I have brought Mark Zimmerman along with me because, you know, coming back, things are scary and you should never go it alone.
No, absolutely not. You still need me to guide you through all those things that happen, like the fact that NA and EU got a break from League.
Yeah, it was a great thing, right?
It was a great 1 week off for the Academy teams.
No, nothing.
Yeah, and it gave us more time to research some of the meta breakthroughs that we got to see in other regions and things like that. So Smite mid is a thing now. It was being experimented with a while ago, right when Scuttlecrab got those changes, but it's making a comeback. We have Talon playing it a lot, Aatrox, Echo. You basically pick it on anything that can scrap early. You want to get scuttle control with it. You want to push your lane early, get some jungle pressure to steal away some chickens, anything like that. Smite mid can help with.
And as we take breaks all the time, things resurface and things actually become new, and we see a few of those new things now in the new patch.
Yeah, absolutely. We also see some new champs showing up. Gragas got that buff, the W range. Aatrox is obviously crazy broken, as we saw pretty clearly with Rift Rivals. And then Heimer was brought over, the bubonic plague, joining us here in NA now.
Indeed.
It's just spreading.
Apparently a wise choice. And sure enough, North America is experimenting with some of these strategies, and we got our first glimpse last night in Thursday's games. 3 teams busted out Heimer in the bot lane, but none claim victory. FlyQuest ultimately losing to CLG's Graves Funnel.
And you see the Heimer getting jumped on and kind of blown up right away. One of his big weaknesses, and one of the things that makes the champion harder to play than people really give it credit for. Yes, in lane, you throw your turrets down, kind of auto pushes, and you harass people. But out of lane, you are pretty susceptible. And so this funnel strat, like you said with that Graves, the Taric being able to protect him so the Graves kind of go in and go crazy. And it was a really nice game, but a hard-fought game for CLG Academy.
Absolutely. Take it down. See, things are good when the fight stays still. Just when the fight starts to move around is when you have a problem and everybody takes off away from the turret.
Yeah, and I know Jat has been doing a lot of experimenting with that Heimer pick to figure out exactly how to play it right, because there's some more subtleties and nuance in it than people give it credit for with how you get your laser beams charged up as fast as you can.
All right, and also a few games, 100 Thieves taking a win over TLA with a Smite mid Talon and Levi on Gragas.
Yeah, good to see 100 Thieves kind of substitutes for Rift Rivals coming back in and finding success. There you see the Talon hopping the wall, getting some extra farm early on, as well as getting some levels. And then with that advantage, you can kind of run wild. That's the thing, is you end up a little bit over leveled because you're getting some extra experience and things like that.
Never sucks.
Never sucks. You got your red smite usually on Talon, trying to get that extra bit of burn damage so you can hop in there and run wild. It was a pretty hard-fought game once again, though, as TLA was putting up a good fight. But that Gragas pick also doing work, something that has been okay in the jungle, but has had a hard time kind of pushing out some of the other top tiers. Had a great game this time for Levi, who also had a pretty good Rift Rival showing, all things considered.
Yeah, didn't get a break, so maybe he was still ready, raring to go as they jump back into Academy feeling good. And just a reminder, you can catch all of the Thursday games on the individual team streams. Each of the LCS organizations have their own broadcasts where they cover their weekly Thursday matchups. Be sure to tune in next week for Double the Action, as teams play twice for our second doubleheader, Thursday of the split. To be clear, Week 5 is the doubleheader, not Week 7, as you may have heard us say a few weeks ago. Now, let's take a look at those Thursday games affecting the standings. Cloud9 Academy comes into Day 2 in sole possession of first place, but CLG and OpTic Academy are just 1 win behind. Team Liquid sits in 4th, just ahead of a 3-way tie between Clutch Gaming Academy, 100 Thieves, and FlyQuest Academy. We'll see how the standings shift after tonight with a full 5 games on the horizon. What could be better? First up, FlyQuest takes on OpTic Gaming Academy before Clutch takes on the top team in Cloud9 Academy. Then CounterLogic Gaming defends second place against Team Liquid, while Golden Guardians and Echo Fox search for their second win to close out the day. So let's jump into our first matchup, which pits FlyQuest Academy versus OpTic Gaming. And this week will be our first look at Meteos in the green and gold after being traded from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see how this trade ends up going for them, because despite being a fan favorite, Meteos feels like he's struggled to kind of fit into the modern era of LCS since the golden years that was on Cloud9. And we know that FlyQuest is trying to build a strong team culture, and we're just not exactly sure how well Meteos will necessarily fit into that. And so we know that he's not necessarily very interested in playing Academy. He wants to be in the starting spot, but he'll need to grit his teeth a little bit here and prove himself for that main roster, since he's probably a better jungler than I think a lot of people are expecting out of Santorin.
Absolutely. Definitely needs a push at this point, and lulls are hard to get out of. Sometimes it really requires something this drastic. FlyQuest weren't able to take a win away from CLG yesterday, so we will see if they can bounce back today against OpTic Gaming, who made a substitution of their own.
Yeah, Alorum is back in Academy with the roster this week after a few lackluster performances with the LCS team. It seems like OpTic is really struggling to find their top laner, and it's causing this revolving door a little bit down in Academy. So despite the change-ups, OpTic are holding their own at the top of the standings and are proving themselves to be a top team in Academy this summer.
Absolutely. So before we get into Champion Select, let's check out the starting lineups. On the blue side, it's FlyQuest Academy. That means it's No in the top lane, Meteos roaming around in the jungle, Peckinwolf in mid, Airy at bot lane with support Quan and Coach Gabriel, Zotan, Johan.
And on the red side, it's OpTic Gaming in the top lane, Alorum, jungle, Fnatic, mid lane, Palafox, Eclipse in the bot lane, supported by Gate, all coached by Cop.
No more Fnatic. No more of these names.
Fnatic.
What are these names? We'll see how they can do. I am actually excited to see kind of what Academy will bring back. We do see 813 around the different regions, bringing in these kind of new picks, and I feel like Academy is where we're going to see that first on this side of the pond.
Yeah, it feels like for the most part, Academy has done a good job
or continue to see it.
Yeah, continuing, because I feel like Academy does a good job of mirroring what we'll see in the LCS later on the weekend. Usually the Academy teams and the LCS teams are close enough together that there will be that kind of cross-pollination, and so if you're going to see this Heimer in the LCS, the fact that we saw it 3 times yesterday in Academy means we'll probably be seeing it a lot in the LCS.
Maybe on the ban list coming up as well. Teams just kind of say, oh, it's not worth a ban. We'll play against it. We'll see when that kind of mentality changes.
Yeah, it's like right now, North America's not good enough at Heimer to deserve the ban. So it gets through, and then you play against it, or you play with it and you lose, and eventually those losses turn to wins, and then maybe it hits the ban.
Or becomes the North American Heimer like a Kha'Zix. So we'll see. We'll see.
NA Rengar, NA Heimer.
Oh, yeah, NA Rengar. Thank you, Kha'Zix. We have Morgana Talia to start things off, and a Nocturne Aatrox. On the other side from OpTic Academy, the final bans of Phase 1 to come in. 4-4 OpTic Academy up against that Fly Academy up against 6-2 OpTic.
And the thing that's going to interest me is where exactly all the bans land, because the Nocturne Zoe were kind of red side bans, and they were the quote-unquote OPs of the last patch. And Aatrox has definitely taken that spot up there as well. Kindred being a pretty strong jungler, so I'm very interested to see what the new priority kind of ends up being in terms of the ones that are shared across all teams, because you know Aatrox, Zoe, and Nocturne are going to stay up there.
Absolutely. See a little initiation from Quan here. The Rakan is a pretty safe pick. They also have a chance for the Xayah to come through if they want. Still down the line. OpTic has kind of been a team that's going towards the funnel, would try the funnel. We'll see what they do today.
Yeah, I think they've been pretty interesting to watch. As you know, like we said, 6-2, very impressive considering that they looked a little hit or miss last split, and there's not really that many changes. Palafox and kind of being like the linchpin of that team, where he plays a lot of standard mage picks, which a lot of people didn't think were going to be that great early on into this season, but it was working out for him.
Safety here for Eclipse. They put him on the Jhin, so it looks like they're going to try to lock down some team fights in this one, but have him protected as a late game carry. We'll see who's alongside him, and possibly the mid lane is Alorum towards the tanks in his most recent plays. There is the Xayah possibly being locked in for Airy. Quan and Airy on the Lovers duo.
Yeah, here we go. And we'll see where that goes, because there's a chance it goes mid lane. One of the things that was really sticking out about Meteos towards the end of that 100 Thieves lineup was him and Ryu in the bot lane were no joke together, and he was actually getting a lot of first bloods in lane on things like the Fiddlestick. So a little less time to synergize with FlyQuest Academy, but maybe a similar story, though. That Galio hover, making it look like that's not going to be the case.
Not at all. He does not. They're like, yeah, nope, 3 seconds left. We're not going to be able to switch this. So it looks like they're actually trying to put that fight comp together. Who will Galio be protecting, or possibly just the Rakan to dive in? You expect Meteos is going to have something else to go in with that.
Absolutely. I mean, Camille was a champion that you often see combo together, and you got those Camille, Xayah, Rakan plus Galio comps, and you just have so much engage or appeal depending on how you want to use those skills. The Yasuo coming in, a pretty good counter into Galio in the sense that you want to build a lot of physical damage, and eventually Galio just can't go toe-to-toe with you anymore, as well as you being able to block out the Winds of War. It can actually work out pretty well. So I am surprised to see the Jhin pick. There were some changes on 8.13 with the hotfix that came in to make Brawler's Glove cheaper by 200, I think, to get it back down to 400 or something like that, though a lot of the item prices as a completed item didn't change. It was just the changes with the combined cost now that Brawler's Glove was cheaper. So slight buff to Yasuo, and maybe a little bit to Jhin as well, assuming you go for the crit Jhin build.
A little early crit.
Yeah.
See, Yasuo, they have a lot of AD on the team so far, and they're getting hit on Mundo for the top lane, so it takes a little AP away as there's the Camille actually coming from FlyQuest Academy to hit Fnatic up on the other side for OpTic.
Interesting to see the Camille ban by FlyQuest.
Yeah.
I mean, Meteos wasn't playing Camille really in the LCS, so maybe it's just something he doesn't play, and he's
never mind.
And maybe he's concerned about playing against the Camille in the early skirmishing, because it obviously works very well with FlyQuest comp. Works well with OpTic Academies too, to be fair. If you have the Camille and Yasuo jumping onto the Xayah, maybe you can lock her down.
Interesting as they continue to pinch that top side of the map, obviously knowing Ari and Quan have their picks. Lock down what Meteos and No could get as Trundle is locked in on the other side, saying, hey, you might have to take a Sejuani, and then we get a great matchup there for Fnatic.
Yeah, it does feel like a little bit of a read on what Meteos wants to play, as well as the fact that you saw the Gragas, Xin, and Camille banned out. A lot of really strong level 2 junglers, and getting rid of the other kind of magic damage tanky jungler that was basically leaving Sejuani up for him and forcing him into that position. Is also still a good pick into Galio, who ends up usually building a couple resist. You can build the AP one-shot Galio, but for the most part, people still end up grabbing some resists in there.
And it is pretty great composition. You know, kudos to Cop there for a moment, always on teams that vary up their picks, have a few flex coming in, but usually come out on top ever so slightly. The Olaf is the answer, though, that we see coming in from FlyQuest. So Meteos says, you want to go toe-to-toe, I'll be right up in your face.
I mean, Olaf's not bad, has a lot of early tempo in the jungle. The Trundle-Olaf matchup is one that we've seen a fair amount going all the way back to spring, where early on, Olaf kind of controls the pace of the game, and Trundle's playing catch-up until it kind of flips on their second item and a half, where Trundle just becomes a much better frontliner compared to the Olaf.
He's like, why isn't this guy dying?
Yeah.
How is this happening? I was just killing him a second ago. Darius is locked in, so they will absolutely be able to cut through that top line of basically squishies here if Fnatic is, or I'm sorry, if Gate isn't saving them on the Tahm Kench.
It's very interesting because you pointed out how Aloran, for the most part, plays tanks, and the Darius was a bit of a call-out saying, well, play tanks into me. And then there you go. You see he's like, nope, not going to do that. I'll take Vladimir instead. And this was an interesting game where both teams trying to call out what the other player's tendencies are.
Absolutely.
Meteos wants Sejuani, so we'll take Trundle early. Aloran likes to play tanks, we'll take Darius early, and both times ended up getting not quite favorable matchups as a result.
It's usually you see it kind of be one or the other. The first phase seems like everybody got a little bit of what they wanted. We want to run this bot lane, we'll run this bot lane, sweet. But then you're right, back and forth, they're adjusting for the picks. We'll see if that actually hurts anybody going into the game, because you may not have gotten something you wanted at that point. You're just playing against what you saw.
Yeah, so was the Darius pick worth putting Aloran off his comfort champions, or will this Vladimir actually smash the Darius now with the counter pick? We'll have to see.
Absolutely. Well, we'll have to also see FlyQuest Academy now with Meteos in the jungle. First game, well, not first game on Olaf, but now on Olaf. We'll see if they can produce more results here against OpTic Academy. On to the Rift. Chickens.
The chicken Galio skin is one that I don't love it. I think it's like makes sense for his skin, but then his abilities just look really funny.
Chickens.
Yeah, just the winds of war hit and like a drumstick pops out, and you're like, what?
I like it. It's about sending a message. The game is going to be hot and greasy.
Ew.
No to the top. Gets one quick swipe on Aloran. He doesn't want to play ball for now, so they just continue to back off. Nice pressure, though. Looks like Meteos and No actually want to stay here for quite some time and really start to mess with Fnatic's jungle.
Yeah, I mean, Olaf is one of those level 1 champions who you just don't want a piece of at all. If you're pushed up in your jungle, he catches you anywhere near river. He gets that chain axe slowdown. Very good at forcing flashes.
He actually is one of those champions, so like a persona that would say, yo, you want to hit me? You want to hit me, and you hit him, and he just gets more mad. That's how he works. He starts swinging faster. You do not want to mess with that early.
Yeah, play style and aesthetic matching up pretty good for Olaf.
Quan is actually still hugging that top side, and it looks like Gate felt like something was happening, so his rotation will be late to the bottom. Shouldn't mean too much for the farm, but they may go aggressive on Ari once they see Quan towards the top. A 3v2 to start things off, and they will stay to make this very troublesome for Fnatic. Aloran not getting himself to lane. Smite goes down, and that goes to Meteos. We'll have to watch Fnatic's pathing.
That was actually a really good invade by FlyQuest that could have been even better because they didn't drop any wards when FlyQuest pushed in. And I'm sure Meteos noticed that and called it out and said, listen, they're susceptible to a late invade. They didn't ward us after we left the jungle, and they tried to go back in. He unfortunately missed his first axe onto Fnatic, so they couldn't actually chase down for the kill and just had to settle for the red buff.
Oh, Meteos feeling like he could actually trail Fnatic here. And they're going to walk around into the brush. He is going to lose this red, but now he has Quan. The undertow into the brush actually alerts them that the rest of OpTic is there, and they are one step ahead on this already. Possibly a flash coming in for Fnatic. He gets locked up. Damage comes in. He's just over the wall. Damage on the Dragon to Absorber. Actually add more to the fight. And now the roots start coming in from Eclipse in the bot lane. Remember, he was there alone, getting that fast level 2. Palafox level 2 is now dashing back and forth. And OpTic actually turned this one around in their favor somehow. And now a flash from Peckinwolf.
Really crazy fight early on in the bot red jungle for FlyQuest Academy, and I thought it was a great call out by them saying, I'm level 2, I'm Olaf, you're level 1 Trundle, I can go down and murder you. And Fnatic delaying his flash over the wall was interesting because I was like, okay, he's going to save his flash because there's just no way, you know Meteos is going to flash follow you. So I thought this was Fnatic basically saying, you got me, I'll just go down quietly and die. But what he was really doing was delaying until Jhin was collapsing. He had the push advantage in the bot lane, and so Fnatic kind of baits them all into this fight. They get desperate to clean up that kill, and then from there, Eclipse with a red buff on Jhin, level 2 is able to chase down, as well as the fact that Palafox has his E to dash around. They find 2 quick kills and bounce back from what was a bit of a disastrous level 1.
Wowzer. What a play. Coming really for both teams there. We talked about how fast it was going to be reactive, and OpTic were really on the winning end of that one, but it does not end. Meteos right back to lane. They continue now to go after Gate, who just had to leave lane for that fight, and now goes down. They also get Eclipse Flash.
Oh man, Meteos is just such a smart jungler. He's kind of putting it on display here. Yeah, he got a little greedy chasing for that kill, but he knows there's no flashes down the bot lane now. They know they haven't had a chance to ward out yet, so he instantly goes back down there. Level 2 says, this will teach you for baiting me.
It's that, oh really mentality? We'll see about that. Goes down just about 4 minutes in. A kill a minute to start things off here, and a 300 gold lead as it gets spicy on the Rift. So we're back into the Academy. Fnatic now heading towards his top side. Should see a little bit of pressure from Peckinwolf. This is just going to be a ward or a Scryer's Bloom. Oh, just catch him on the outside there, so that helps out Meteos quite a bit.
Yeah, just barely able to get that vision down on him. And luckily for Vladimir, it's kind of led to an isolated lane up in the top side. Hasn't had to worry about any of this.
Just gets to hang out.
And good for the Vladimir. Not super strong in the early levels like Vladimir always has been, so this counter pick will turn online a little bit later on once the Q cooldown gets lower.
Ooh, taunt coming in. Should be a bit of extra damage, and the passive auto coming in from Peckinwolf. Gets it on to Palafox. He should be right as rain as he gets himself back into just farming area.
The early base damages on Galio, pretty good.
Yeah, right? It hurts. You're like, oh, I can do so much. And then when you go in later, you're like, I'm kind of chipping away at people. I wish I could do that again.
Yeah, and that was with, of course, the wind wall blocking the Winds of War. So it could have been an even stronger trade for him. It's just hard, especially when he's going for the Aftershock Galio, that it's difficult to win a trade early on. And Palafox probably going to want couple items, couple more levels, and then can start getting a little bit more aggressive. But until then, looks like Peckinwolf is going to have control of this mid lane.
Also always neat now seeing these Predator Vladimirs speeding around the map.
Yeah, the Predator Vladimir makes a lot more sense in the top lane. In the bot lane, you see a lot of the electrocutes who want to get to like level 9-ish, level 6 through 9. They get their first item, usually a Spellbinder, and they go for these one-shots because they have supports to lock people down for them. Not the case in the top lane, and it's more about yourself setting you up versus having someone else set you up, and that's where the Predator becomes so useful.
Peckinwolf just slides backwards, but he does have Fnatic off in the wing here. That could be a problem. Level 6 hitting in the mid lane, but teleport is down. Let's see if Meteos makes this a slow walk towards the bot lane. It would take quite a while if Peckinwolf was going to engage on this one, but they do not have vision of him or Meteos. And looks like they pulled the trigger now. On to Gate once again just before the flash is coming up. Grey Health comes in. Fnatic is going to be there, and you got to wonder if Galio's going to start heading down towards the bot lane, because here comes Palafox. Meteos goes down, and Quan and Aerie are on the run. A quick heal comes in for Aerie, and it is called off as Peckinwolf still heads towards mid lane. Another hit there for OpTic on the counterattack. Yep,
there we saw a really nice attempt by FlyQuest Academy, but Gate was able to get a very large gray health off, which kept him alive. And importantly, he got his Ignite down too, which made sure to tick down on Meteos so that when Fnatic came in to counter gank that, he was able to trade the 1-for-1 kill. Also, something I just noticed, we have Hail of Arrows on Eclipse, surprisingly. Before I talk about that, we'll take on a look here, and Predator coming in, very easy to get onto Gate, who's still flashless from all that level 1 stuff, but that big gray health keeping him alive long enough for that root to come in, the Ignite comes down, and Meteos is in big trouble even without Fnatic really coming in.
Chomp down.
But yeah, the Hail of Arrows was another thing that kind of got buffed on this patch a little bit. I think it was the arm time on it was dropped, and it's surprising to see on Jhin, but...
Deadly Flourish. Oh.
What?
Yes. Oh, the Hail of Arrows.
Yeah, the rune or whatever was...
Oh, the rune, yes.
Yeah,
I was thinking of the
Hail
skill.
of Blades.
Right.
I said Hail of Arrows. That's my bad for messing with you.
You're good.
Yeah, Hail of Arrows, Hail of Blades, whatever it's called.
We got there.
Haven't seen it very much in the LCS, but there it is, swapping out the typical comet that you see for it.
Yes. Now I understand. 8 minutes on the clock, and now Gate and Eclipse feeling actually pretty good here with that BF sword in Eclipse's hands as well. The mid lane trade continues back and forth. You can see that health now for Peckinwolf doing good, but Palafox still able to cut through it, goes for the hit on and under the turret. He is going to be able to get it. I thought the flash was going to keep Peckinwolf alive for just long enough. Disabled with Ragnarok, but he gets around. There's the pillar coming in, and he cannot get around it. It's still going to bump him. A beautiful save coming from Fnatic. The teleport from No was already started, and they continue in the bot lane as the fights go coast to coast. And there's the entrance coming in from Quan. He's forced to get back onto the fight. Just a little bit of protection coming in as Aerie cannot reach. The gray health is on now for Gate as they slowly take him down, and he is dunked by No.
Crazy fights breaking out in the bot and the mid lane at the same time. Palafox putting on display why he is kind of cementing himself as one of the best mid laners in Academy. Gets a nice 1v1 dive off and has the mechanics to escape as well. Unfortunately, TP advantage down the bot side, so No was able to jump in there, and once again, Gate's getting punished.
Oh, nice block by Quan on the Deadly Flourish. Curtain call comes down, and they exit stage right out of this one. Meteos and Quan get themselves to safety. Just about 500 HP combined. No's actually still hanging out down here as they've rototed. Rototos. Peckinwolf top. Let's see this one again.
Yeah, this is kind of what started off all this action. Peckinwolf gets interrupted, gets ulted away from the turret. And Palafox, like we said, with some levels, with some items, is going to become a lot bigger threat in the 1v1. And the flash by Peckinwolf kind of gave Palafox his way out because he flash follow away from the turret. And that kind of got him in some trouble. This TP also coming in right after the Vladimir had teleported up to the top side. So this is going to be a 3v2 that they cannot get out of. Nice follow by Quan, getting the knock up on Gate. No holding his abilities here, knowing that there's really no way for Gate to get out. We'll have the gray health. Doesn't matter. The bleed, the ult finishes that kill off. Both teams kind of try and fight over that blue buff, but no more kills to be found.
Back and forth, a kill for kill. This is what we like to see, and this is what we expected to see with the picks coming out of Champion Select. Alorum having a bit of trouble here before he hits 9. Gets a level 5 on that Q, so he can get healthy real quick. Last breath comes in. So it feels like Peckinwolf is still breathing on this one. He gets himself out with the ultimate onto Meteos, but now they also know where Meteos is, so they can put a little bit of vision down on the map.
Yeah, nice escape there by Peckinwolf, waiting until the CC came out so he could get out for free. But still a good force out of OpTic. They cannot use that ultimate now aggressively to potentially dive bottom or anything like that. Peckinwolf has been held in check by Palafox for the most part of this game. Galio's at his scariest when he's comboing with dives and other things like that. He's mostly been under his turret.
Currently a hero's exit.
Yes.
At this point.
Is it really a heroic action if you are running away?
Not so much.
Cowardly exit.
Ooh, wow, nice feather pull back as Eclipse kind of gets a little lax in lane with what he's paying attention to and takes half of his health and damage. Quan looks like he could activate on this as they step up. He just goes for a love tap. It's Rakan, he quills. Why not?
And this is why forcing that Galio ult out is pretty important, because you're losing these bot lane trades, and it'd be much scarier if you had to worry about an Olaf Galio coming in behind you.
Very true, especially with Palafox having cleanse in that mid lane. He's not teleporting around the map to kind of offer what Peckinwolf is going to offer in a split second. Quickly going in. Oh, hello, Pink Ward, says Meteos. He clears that up as he keeps himself up and around on the map. 1, 2, and 2, and 0, 1, and 2 are what we're looking at for the junglers, but still eyes on Meteos here in his second game with FlyQuest Academy. Oh, so rude. So Lauren tries to back. Things are quieting down, but I feel like once I start to say that, we're going to see immediate action. Already towards the bot lane, Meteos is hovering as Quan is stepped forward into the brush.
Trying to see if they'll walk forward a little bit. They've done a good job of dropping a lot of pink wards down the bot side of the map here to set up these aggressive plays around their winning lane. They're fine letting the Darius-Vladimir matchup go kind of even for right now. And it would be pretty hard to gank Vladimir anyway, so they're trying to punish Gate, who has already died quite a few times.
Still that pressure in the brush, not necessarily needing vision up on that pink ward, but FlyQuest is doing a great job of being able to hold River, but also allow Fnatic to do quite a bit on the other side in OpTic's favor.
Yeah, I'm sure Meteos is getting a little impatient, though, because despite all these pink wards, they haven't been able to convert it into anything. So going to just take that bot lane pressure and grab a Drake, since they had not been able to find the opening into the bot lane.
Nice and easy. Dragon goes down, Eclipse and Gate stay safe. Fnatic and Palafox just kind of hanging out for a moment as they farm that mid turret. Interesting, Palafox actually isn't just destroying the Raptor camp. He says, no, you can have it, Fnatic. I'm a nice guy. Scuttle Crab looking for top side. It's already taken down as Fnatic is just doing some ward duty. We'll see where the rest of the lane goes. Teleport for him. That cannot happen with the passive. That would be sweet, though, if Rakan could actually teleport with the other part of the
Or you could, like, E. Once he's teleporting in air to redirect you.
Let's go.
Yeah, that'd be broken. Yeah, it'd be broken, but it'd be really cool.
Raspberry. Storm Razors. Ooh.
Yep, Storm Razors coming out. That was one of the items that got a small buff on 8.12, I think, as opposed to 8.13.
Yeah.
Was one of the things that started putting Crypt Marksman back on the map as, ooh, they just short.
Gotta try. Good bit of damage. Waiting for that Crimson Rush to come back up before he throws another one in. Actually, using the Sanguine Pool first. And flashes over the wall. This does not look like a good situation for Lorem. He gets hit. The bleed is still on. Apprehended in. And uses the abilities quite backwards as he gets himself taken down with the flash as well. Peckinwolf now trying to head towards the top side. And he is the caboose to the rotation train. It does not look like he's going down, though. Made of steel.
Looked like a bit of a mistrade there by Alorum. Should have been able to get out of there for sure, but kind of looked like he wanted to, couldn't decide if he wanted to use the blast cone or use his flash. Ends up walking back next to the Darius and then not being able to take the blast cone, so it would hit both them over and has to flash, which of course Darius can follow.
What? Shoot blanks.
He's got the shield on him, man. He's got the E.
Shoot blanks. See what they can do in the next fight.
Whoa.
It could actually be a game where Eclipse is opening up with Curtain Call to start these fights. We're seeing the Rift Herald get a bit of attention now. Oh, Ragnarok immediately in the middle of last breath. Rift Herald goes down, and it's going to be the kill onto Fnatic. That would be a snuff out, or is it a grab on Rift Herald? We'll have to see. It does not look like they're going to be able to grab it. So there's about 45 seconds for OpTic to come back and grab this.
Yeah, that was a bit of a suicide attempt to stop the Rift Herald from going down, as Peckinwolf was able to ult in on top of Meteos, and the TP flank coming in from No, and now there's that.
Like, I want this right now.
I don't think Quan can stop him by himself.
They're waiting for Meteos. They're going to defend this off. I love this. You know, usually
stays up way
it's about
too
40
long.
seconds. And it puts an awesome fight. Oh, it just disappeared before Lorem can get to it. He turns tail and starts heading towards the bot lane. Gates in a sore position now. The charm hits on the quickness, and he will go down with the sickness.
Ooh, ah. That was very sad for OpTic.
Uh-oh, ooh. Almost got his cape there, but yes, I absolutely agree. It just flipped right there for them.
That was another suicide attempt. The first one to stop FlyQuest from being able to get the Rift Herald. They're able to get the Smite, and then they go on another suicide mission. This time, Gate going in there to try and buy space for Alorum to grab it, but it timed out right before he got there.
It's nothing you ever really play around in that instance. So you're like, oh, we can walk in and get it. So you haven't prepped for the fight, you don't know it, and they just so sloppily keep trying to get it. It hurts them pretty bad.
Well, it felt like they had forced out Quan, so maybe they can walk forward and get it, and then right then it drops Alorum, and then everyone's just split up. One's running into the jungle, one's running to a turret, one's running back to top lane, and once again, Gate has his team doing him dirty.
Yeah, Gate is having a rough game. Its positions are just kind of cut off at the last moment, and he's like, well, I guess it's a better idea to lead you away from my team. So in his effort to help, he's also going down quite a bit. 0-4-2 for him. Still with the ability to save Eclipse, 2-0-1 and a 2-0-0 Palafox. And really the people they fielded on this composition to do the damage. So they're up those numbers.
And it's worth pointing out, too, that OpTic does have their 4 kills on the right members. You see a very strong Yasuo and Jin's coming out, excuse me, where on the flip side, Olaf getting some early kills is great, but if you don't snowball like crazy, he will still continue to drop off. Rakan with those kills, not going to be doing too much, will get his...
yeah, Ari would love to not be 0-0-4.
Yeah, he would love 2 of those kills for himself.
Feels good for No, though. He has dunked 2 and assisted in dunking 2, so keep it in the stats. Darius could be very big if they decide to play that lane consistently, calling Alorum to the top side, who wants to participate in these fights. Now getting pushed off his lane, Meteos goes between the turrets, and he says, I want part of this. You don't get solo gold. Let's go. That's not in your contract.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the ones where the kill mismatches does matter, of course.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if Darius gets strong in ahead, he can kind of just run at the Vladimir, who is trying to kite him out, and then it's, well, I'm under a turret, and he's just autoing the turret, and I can't really do enough damage to scare him off. So that's why the top one went down.
FlyQuest backing.
Why aren't they together? There's complete lack of synergy on FlyQuest Academy here. It's so sad to watch this team.
You could have stopped. You could have faked out a flash or got something if you charged in and got, you know, so many possibilities. We'll never know. They choose their own adventure, and today we went home to buy. We'll be back on. They come out split? No, they're actually under each other. Can't see the coins. But yeah, Ari and Quan are together there. I believe No has joined them. So with 4 in the mid lane, they'll have Peckinwolf just on the outside with his ult up, ready to make a hero's entrance. They may find a reason to do so quite soon. Mountain Drake has spawned. The second one could be in favor of FlyQuest.
Got that chicken on your mind, huh?
It's so much flavor.
This should be a good fight for FlyQuest. I feel like at their items, they're a little bit stronger with... actually, the pen coming in might be good for Alorum. If he can find an angle onto the backside, that might be enough.
Let's see, you have Meteos and No. Quan with that shield, so it might actually be hard to open up with the curtain call. You wouldn't be able to separate the team too much, especially Peckinwolf just standing in the front, eating the bullets for breakfast. So back to mid lane. It doesn't seem like OpTic really bites into the Dragon attempt. Now with one more wave clear, it looks like FlyQuest are going to try to rush it down.
It's got to be a little careful, though, because Vladimir is in the position to flank on the backside, and the 4-man chorus is going to charge right through the middle.
Well, curtain call does start up. Peckinwolf in the pixel brush. Alorum is in the backside, and he flashes in, throwing down the hits. Who's going to go down next? Fnatic has already fallen. The Dragon will fall in favor of Meteos and FlyQuest as Gate chomps up Palafox. As he gets spit out, they get reeled in, and No apprehends some more for the team, taking down Palafox and securing a kill for Peckinwolf.
With 3 dead, post 20 minutes, they might be able to actually just turn this into a Baron attempt. They also got both Mountain Dragons, so they should be able to burn this one down very, very quickly. I don't think OpTic will be able to stop this.
No way. Meteos on it. Peckinwolf very healthy. The shots from Curtain Call are down as Fnatic sprints out of base, trying to make his way to Baron. The health going just too low to attempt. 2,500 HP. Alorum flashed into the last fight, so he cannot get that Tides of Blood in. Quan goes over the wall, gets his defense to his teammate. Thankfully not carrying a grenade over, and they are good to go. Baron now for FlyQuest Academy.
In all things considered, this looked like it could be a decent fight with that flank coming around, but Fnatic, is just going to get chain CC'd and insta blown up. Never got his ult off onto Peckinwolf. If he got that off, they might have been able to win this fight because Alorum's flank onto Airy was actually pretty good. He got him forced out of the fight very early on, but there's just no follow-up now. There's no Trundle Pillar to set up Palafox, and they just kind of continue to get chased down, and it all comes back to vision control. The fact that they were able to keep the Galio hidden in that brush and then chain CC the Trundle down was the biggest reason for why FlyQuest was able to win that fight so decisively.
Very slow and methodical clearing of the vision. I mean, they still have it in that Dragon area that allowed them to win that fight. It just took a few waves and a few position pushes in the mid lane. 10-4 now as we finally see a separation in this game. 5,000 going up on 6,000 gold lead here for FlyQuest Academy, and it does not look like they will stop as they start hitting up the second tier turret in mid lane. And
you talk about the lack of Palafox TP earlier in the game as he has cleansed. This is a time where it's disastrous. He has no way to get back quickly. He can't be split pushing and have them defend their base at all.
He walks away from the minions just to give them an idea, but they know the timing. 8 seconds to get back. A little bit of time to run off the fountain now that home guards are activated, and just enough time to play with the inhibitor. One down in favor of FlyQuest as they now have super minions in the mid lane.
Definitely a confusing decision there. You split away just in time for them to take your inhibitor, but you leave just to make sure you can't take their top turret. Bit of a boo-boo there on OpTic's side. And now they're in position to try and defend this, but it's going to be very hard with the amount of frontline and dive that FlyQuest has.
No kiss will cure this. A kiss of death, maybe. Take it all away. 23 minutes. Making their way onto the second inhibitor turret here on the bot side. OpTic looking for a way in. Fnatic tries to get himself just on the front steps and is immediately taken down. Peckinwolf and team now on the inhibitors. Meteos stands in the front, hurling undertows to look for another engage. As FlyQuest now seem like they've had enough, they're going to back off and spend their spoils.
Yeah, they still got a minute on the Baron buff, so they're going to use these empowered recalls, get back to base, and hopefully be able to meet up with that big minion wave that's pushing in on the top side. If they move very quickly here, they might be able to take all 3 inhibitors down in the next minute.
Minion duty now for OpTic, but the game is not over. It's actually really hard to take down a Peckinwolf, No, and Meteos on that front line for OpTic Academy, but if they can find Airy and Quan, quite a bit of the damage gone, and they have a longer fight to work with. Only 25 minutes in is pretty crazy for the amount of action we have seen at 15 kills.
I love that TP. They're trying to make sure that Alorum could not get up there to clear that wave. It was a really nice decision because they can get the Baron buff on that and ride this into that third inhibitor, like I was saying. Really smart decision there by No.
What a Baron play. 14 seconds left as well, so even with using the empowered recall, they get themselves out on the Rift and take down another turret. This minion wave is gigantic. A bit of wave clear coming from Eclipse's Jhin. We have a few of the Steel Tempest as well from Palafox in the mid lane. Now with the wave clear, it's all about the minions pouring in on the bot side and OpTic choosing the right time to counter the attack.
Yeah, and with the Baron buff running out, maybe OpTic has enough wave clear to be able to kill a couple of these super minions and run back there and use a Yasuo Tornado to try and clear it out. But they still have to be really worried about this dive. At any point, Meteos and Peckinwolf can just go.
Oh, Palafox takes a hit, but it's nothing they'll follow up on for now as the turret starts to get peppered. Nice Winds of War keeps OpTic at bay, and nobody's coming in from the side just yet. They're fine with doing a little bit of damage each time and letting the minions do their work at the base.
Yeah, this is slowly pulling OpTic apart. They had a nice wind wall to stop some of the initial damage onto the turret, but eventually that runs out. They couldn't kill all the minions during that brief window with the wind wall up, so they lose half their turret on this inhibitor.
Quan, they're kind of tempting him as well. Quan's like, I'll take a few hits, it's fine, engage on me. I'm out of here in a second. OpTic see that as well though, so they aren't fighting just yet. And it looks like they're going to leave, possibly Peckinwolf here to teleport back in as they hit the last few times on this turret.
Yeah, absolutely. They're gonna try and combo this with that minion wave that's gonna push in and use the oh, he's using it on a ward. Okay, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Oh, right on the minion.
You wait till the minion walks into the turret, then do it. Either way, it looks like it's going to work out as Meteos pops the Predator to zone them off that turret.
Knowing he was coming in fresh, a little too strong for OpTic to do anything, and now it's going to be a last stand under their last 2 turrets on the map. All 9 outer turrets have dropped in favor of FlyQuest, and now they're using 3 waves of minions. Bot actually pushing out in favor of OpTic is the only thing in their favor right now. Summoners are mostly up on the side of both teams as the fight about to happen. 11-4, 26 minutes in, and it looks like FlyQuest actually considered that they may need those extra waves.
Yeah, just trying to grab them and escort them in at the same time. And this is a situation where FlyQuest doesn't need to pull the trigger anymore. They can just sit back, let these minions crash into these turrets, and it'll be OpTic who need to find a window to try and get onto area. It's going to be very difficult to do. Otherwise, the game will just end.
Oof. That turret falling instantly. Palafox goes in, but he can't actually do much. Apprehended back and instantly dunked down with Meteos picking that one up. A big hit and entrance coming in from Peckinwolf to lock down the rest of the team. Gate falls within that interaction, and we see Alarim try and pull the team away from the Nexus, but FlyQuest is not having it. They want the win. They start on the Nexus 26 minutes in, and FlyQuest will take down OpTic Academy.
Nice debut game for Meteos. Really controlled the tempo in the early game with the repeated ganks down in the bot lane.
Boom.
And it wasn't just him, though. It was a really nice team effort, as No had some good usage of teleport advantage. Peckinwolf, despite getting in a little bit of trouble early on in the laning phase, was able to play his role out from there very well.
Really good stuff in the early part of the game. We saw so much back and forth at the bot side of the map, and it just did not end. 3-3, 4-4, 5-5, 6-6, and it finally started taking off. And it was a close game until that second dragon fight, until we saw a lot of engages happening and kind of the control over that vision where Peckinwolf stepped up.
Yeah, a number of times we saw FlyQuest have that vision advantage down that bot river, and this time it allows for a pick off instantly onto the Trundle before he can get that ultimate off that makes him so tanky. Once he's down, that's one of your main frontline tools, and the rest of FlyQuest can kind of just continue to chase forward. There's that taunt as well as the apprehend, finding those kills, and despite a nice flank by the Vladimir, just had no way to combo it together because the rest of the team was getting blown up.
Absolutely crazy. What a fast game as well. 27-29. You can see where it kind of lulled, but there wasn't really a lull. There was a lot of action in the early part. It just wasn't spiking for anybody.
Yeah, both teams were trading kills very early on. We saw the level 1 look great for FlyQuest, and then it's kind of a bait by OpTic. They get some kills, but then FlyQuest answers right back, punishing the lack of flashes a little bit better, and that's just how it kept going. You mean, remember that Rift Herald fight where it was just back and forth? They were kept baiting OpTic into thinking they could get the Rift Herald, and then eventually those small situations led to more controlled ones, which FlyQuest showed that they were much better at executing on. No surprise with Meteos helping out.
All right, well, to hear more about that victory, I'd like to welcome FlyQuest coach Gabriel to the broadcast via Skype. Gabriel, congratulations on the win.
Hey, thanks so much, guys.
Nice looking windbreaker. It's
this is actually this is my dad's from the 80s, and then the shirt I got in Taiwan. There's a company that does that kind of stuff, so it's really, really cool.
Fashionable on the Rift and off the Rift. Congrats on the win for the team. How has it been kind of now sorting out having Meteos on the team and just syncing everybody up?
Yeah, obviously it's a little of a weird situation from the outside looking in. At first, it's a lot of hubbub over it, but you know, he's integrated with the team extremely well from the first day, and you know, me being a newer coach, I'm not as experienced as him, and the players obviously being not as experienced as him, it's been pretty humbling to learn a lot from him as well, and to kind of incorporate that into our reviews as we continue to practice for the Academy League. So I found his experience incredibly helpful, and the guys have been all but supportive for his participation with us.
So how about in-game as well, because he's obviously that kind of veteran experience that you're talking about, especially in this game with what looked like some very good vision control to set up some of these fights. Is Meteos taking a larger part, not just out-of-game experience sharing, but in-game as well?
Yeah, so a huge focus this week on scrims has been taking control and maintaining control. So, you know, a lot of Academy teams, they kind of pull the trigger too early. They kind of rush set plays like objectives or tower sieges. And a huge focus for us this week was just keeping that control and maintaining that control. You know, the second dragon that you guys pointed out was a great example of how keeping that control kind of put the other team in a more awkward situation where they felt really uncomfortable and felt they had to pull the trigger. And obviously for a comp like us, if you're going to give us Rakan, Galio, Darius, like that's a lot of engage to kind of just face check into, and you saw the consequences of that. So
Absolutely. Currently, what's your take on what's going on with the meta? We're seeing a little bit of the Heimer, all of that obviously, but we're seeing the Gragas come back, some Smite mids. What's FlyQuest kind of idea about that moving forward?
You know, I can't share like secret strats necessarily, but I do enjoy the diversity.
Right.
I think it creates a great challenge for a coach, especially because, you know, before you're just kind of like, oh, well, these picks are up, we can just get this. These picks are up, we can get this. But now you kind of have to think more. You have to be more cognitive about exactly what's going where, how exactly things will fit into the greater scheme of things. You know, giving us that Rakan, I think Rakan is kind of a scary pick to give in this meta specifically, because you can funnel with it, you can play Xayah with it, and also funnel with it. So there's that flexibility of whether it goes bot or to the jungle, and then you could play it with mages too. Like Swain Rakan is a perfectly fine lane. That's also really scary. So I think this meta more than ever is really exciting for a coach to be able to be more participatory in kind of the team's pregame actions and contribution to winning.
Awesome. That's great input. Gabriel, thank you so much for coming on for the interview, and congratulations again on the win.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, guys.
All right, we are headed for a break, but when we come back, it's Clutch Gaming versus Cloud9 Academy. We'll be right back. Possibly a flash coming in from Fnatic. He gets locked up. Damage comes in. He's just over the wall. Damage on the Dragon to Absorber. Actually add more to the fight. And now the roots start coming in from Eclipse in the bot lane. Remember, he was there alone. Oh, Ragnarok immediately in the middle of last breath. Rift Herald goes down, and it's going to be the kill onto Fnatic. Chomps up Palafox as he gets spit out. They get reeled in, and no, apprehend some more for the team. Palafox goes in, but he can't actually do much. Apprehended back and instantly dunked down, with Meteos picking that one up. A big hit and entrance coming in from Peck and Wolf to lock down